What's up, weirdos? What's going on? Good morning. Let's get to it, guys. Bitcoin currently above $120,000. You absolutely love to see it, man. You absolutely love to see it. Okay. Of course, a text that I was waiting for comes in the second I go live. You can't write this stuff. What's going on, guys? Good to see you guys today. Listen, it's a good day to have a good day, my friends. God bless. We are above $120,000. Closing above $120,000 is the goal. Here's the thing, guys. Here is the thing. We want to break above the all-time high, right? So now the next goal, after closing above this line today at $120,000, let's call it $119,965, right? Our next goal is to close above that right there, $123,319, because that, my friends, is the all-time high, well, in terms of closing, right? A candle close, a full body candle close at $123,319. So we got to put in a higher high than that blue line right there. Price discovery mode after 124,000. So we talked about this, right? The inverse head and shoulders is playing out. A breakout to 124,000, which is where we're probably going to meet some resistance, followed by the breakout to about 140 to 142,000 dollars, probably before the end of this month. Now, could we see a little bit of a correction before this month is over? Of course, it's only the 2nd. We got jobs numbers coming out, I believe, tomorrow. So we'll see what happens there. A lot to monitor, guys. A lot to monitor. But I think we could end up the end of this month, $140,000 to $142,000, which speaks volumes for the altcoins, because altcoins are going to melt their way up to Bitcoin's price action. As you can see, all of this here. And then you look at the altcoins right now, they're already melting their way up towards trying to keep up with Bitcoin's price action, right? It is the tide that rises all boats, guys. So things are looking great. Let's get into the super chats. Only one super chat so far today. Let's kickstart this bull run. Let's go Swift. Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. Can I get an amen to that? All right, let's dive into the chat, see what's going on. Easy. Let's send, baby. H. Barbarina in his house. Strawberry Dragon ready for takeoff. You know me, says smash the like and subscribe on your way in, people. Absolutely. Rob, the house hippo pump never fails, baby. Gotta love it. Exactly. Exactly. Jake the Snake says October, baby. Let's go, guys. Make sure you're hitting the like and subscribing. We got 139 people here, 22 likes. Let's get those likes up to 100, guys. First step along the way. William Swift Zebek partnership went mainly unnoticed. What's your thoughts? Yeah, because you know what? It's hard to keep track of everything with Zebek because there's just so much, right? There's so much. Maybe I will try to start to emphasize that partnership and push it out. Maybe it'll get a little bit more notice. But when they have so much going on, it's hard to keep up. I think that's just kind of what it is, right? Carlos says, Rob, you think 180K for Bitcoin is the top? You don't see it going? No, I do not see it going to $100 or $300,000. I think between 150 and $200,000 is the top for Bitcoin in this bull run. That's just my own personal opinion, right? A guy, what's up, man? Good afternoon, crypto fam. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's go. Hey, Rob, could you give me a price prediction? Herb, the reason you don't see pump.fun on the gem chart on the Patreon is because it's not a gem it's not one of our Patreon gems, right? I've just been talking about it a lot more in the morning market overview meetings over on the Patreon because it's constantly in the top gainers and losers every day, right? So it's not one of our gems over there. It's just a decent project, right? So that's why it's not on our gem chart, our gem list. A guy, hit the likes and show some love. Absolutely. I got tickets for the rocket to the moon. Mirdad, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Excited for tonight's call with the three amigos. Yes, we will be live tonight over on the Patreon, guys. Me, Maximus Crypto, and Rule Black. We got some exciting things to talk about, my friends. Spuds, what's happening, brother? Good to see you. Dave, what's up, man? Let's do this, baby. Aaron, no jobs reports because of the shutdown. Ooh, that's right. That is right. Strawberry Dragon dropping some chatter. Thanks for holding my hand. You the best. Hey, absolutely. Absolutely. El Curdo, what's up, man? How will the cycle play out, do you think? I just did a video this morning on YouTube giving my exact thoughts on that, my friend. So go watch that video. I highly, highly encourage you to. William, what's up, buddy? Gary, got my spacesuit ready for liftoff. Thanks for all you do. Hey, no problem, Gary. Shannon's got my back with a super chat. It says, panic buying last couple of days. Thanks for your guidance and patience, Rob. What's up, fam? Absolutely, guys. Those who were purchasing and DCAing through all of the red days are about to get rewarded for their patience and their consistency, right? And those who did not, those who panic sold and whined and complained and were emotional the whole time, well, you're about to learn a very, very valuable lesson moving forward, right? WF Capital in the house. What's up, brother? Z back, my guy. Is waiting for 25-cent Jasmine a good idea? Yeah, 20 to 25 cents. Yeah. Carrie Ann, I'm so hyped about the market right now. Can I get an amen to that? I feel it in my plums. Thanks for all you do, Rob. God bless. Hey, no problem. Yeah, boy, my boy. What's up, man? Can't thank you enough for all you've done and continue to do for all of us, brother. God bless. Thank you so much for always having my back, you boy. Carrie Ann says, I bought more during September's dip than the whole year. I'm so grateful for the red days because we're about to blow. Can I get an amen to that as well? Hell yeah. We are already caught up in the chat, guys. It is a slower day today. We got 166 people watching. We got 32 likes, guys. Let's get the likes to 100. We can do it. Put your back into it. Come on, guys. How's the M2 looking? M2, I think it just reached a new all-time high, didn't it, the other day? Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, what do we have here? Yeah, it's sitting pretty good. It's sitting pretty good right now. Yeah, it reached an all-time high a few days ago. So yeah, we just need Bitcoin to catch up now. We need Bitcoin to catch its way up. So, Yamaha, what's happening, man? Exciting times ahead. All hail the house hippo. Amen to that. No Sana and Zebek. There you go. Calling Bitcoin a new all-time high on the full moon. Let's go. Why doesn't a Whopper come with cheese by default? Anyway, ready to rock and rip. You know what? I agree with that. The Big Mac comes with cheese, right? The Quarter Pounder comes with cheese. Why does the why does the Whopper not come with cheese? That is a great question, Barrio. That is a great question. I think Burger King's being a little stingy with the cheese, a little stingy with the dairy, man. Come on, right? Can't a brother get a slice of cheese up in here? Why I got to pay an extra 75 cents for a 2-cent slice of cheese? Ray, what's happening, man? Thank you, Rob, for always sharing your knowledge. Hey, that's what we do, baby. That's what we do. All right, let's get into the news a little bit here, guys. What's going on in the markets today? We got a couple different price targets to get into here. Carrie Ann says, you a fan of Jerry the Turtle, Rob? Yeah, I think it's a successful coin. I don't hold any of it, but I think it'll do well. Oh, Diamond Hands with the super sticker. Thank you so much. Thank you. Braveheart says, glad to be a member over on the Patreon for October. Hell yeah. Let's get it. AF says, what a Thursday we are having, guys. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it rolling. Bitcoin hits $120,000 as ETF inflows surge and shorts get crushed. Volkswagen, what's up, brother? Volks Story King. Yeah, buddy. Rodney Coleman. Yeah, buddy. Lightweight. Afternoon, everyone. Have faith on Brother Rob and join the Patreon group. Absolutely. AF is got it down. For most of late September, Bitcoin ETFs were seeing consistent redemptions with nearly 700 million in combined outflows between September 22nd and 26th. That trend reversed dramatically starting September 29th, when funds registered inflows of 518 million, followed by 430 million on September 30th. On October 1st, momentum accelerated with 676 million in net inflows across major issuers, including BlackRock, Fidelity, and ARK Invest. This 3-day streak marked the sharpest inflow recovery in weeks, signaling renewed institutional demand. Bitcoin was trading at near $109,000 just days ago. The combination of ETF inflows and improved sentiment helped the asset climb more than $10,000 in under a week. The rally coincided with broader strength across the crypto market, triggered in part by relief following the temporary resolution of the US government shutdown, which removed a major source of macro uncertainty. The price surge forced short sellers to unwind positions in the past 24 hours alone. Bitcoin related liquidations totaled 135 million, with 116 million coming from shorts and around 20 million from longs. The short squeeze effect provided further upward pressure, accelerating the climb to $120,000 milestone. Bitcoin currently it's actually at 120,100. So looking good, guys. We had a nice little short squeeze take place. Absolutely super fantastic. All right, let's segue over to Squawk Box really briefly here. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says U.S. GDP could take a hit from government shutdowns.
Government shutdown. Join us now with where the administration stands on the latest. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Scott, it helps to, Mr. Secretary, it helps to have seen the moon landing, doesn't it? I mean, isn't there something beneficial about having some experience in life, or is it me?
Joe, I find good to be with you and Becky. I find wisdom's good. I remember when my dad got me up early in the morning to watch the moon landing. So I think I was 7 years old.
I know. Then we, unlike some other people, we know it actually happened and that the flag wasn't waving.
I wasn't there to see it, but I believe it.
Okay. This sector, day two. I guess I'll start with what we're hearing from OMB or at least rumors of possible real action taken to do some things permanently during this shutdown within the next 48 hours or so. Can you shed any light on whether that's really going to happen, or was it a bargaining chip for Republicans to get Democrats to agree to keep the government open?
Well, Joe, let's just step back for a minute and look how we got here. Chuck Schumer did the right thing in the spring and led the Senate to a clean CR. What we've got here is the House they have passed a clean CR. The Republicans have the votes in the Senate, and he will not allow his members to come across. And what's changed since then is it's his poll numbers. So the president, Vice President Vance, Speaker Johnson, Leader Thune, they're not negotiating with Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. They're negotiating with Representative Ocasio-Cortez because she's nipping at his heels. And, so the American people are being held hostage by Chuck Schumer's poll numbers. And, we're starting to see some of the very few moderate members left in the Democratic Party in the Senate drift toward wanting a solution. Chuck Schumer's blocking it. When I look at Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, straight out of Brooklyn, makes me glad that I left New York in 2020. And to your question about the shutdown, this is a choice that Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries have made. And if they want to shut the government down, then there are ramifications.
I'm just wondering, do you think that there is it more than just bargaining then? Would the president, would Russ Vought, would they like to do some, they've already pulled back on some, on some funding in some blue states for, climate initiatives. So they're going ahead with some of these things. Do you think they'd like to finally shrink the size of the federal government and use this as the opportunity? Or are they hoping that we get things settled within the next couple of days, then they don't have to do that?
Well, what they want is what's good for the American people and what's good for the country is a clean CR. The Democrats want to negotiate, like terrorists. They want to say this is what we have to have, and if we don't get it, we're going to close down the government. So, what President Trump, Vice President Vance, and the Republican leadership want is for the Democratic side to show a little leadership. And I don't think it's unreasonable for the president to use all the levers. because, Joe, what they are asking for, they're asking for 1.5 trillion increase in spending. And let's just go back. That would be almost as big as the ill-fated IRA, which caused the worst inflation in half a century. So they want to put this inflationary impulse into President Trump's already strong economy. You know, the economy is growing at 3.8%. We don't need 1.5 trillion pumped in. You know, the Democrats seem to love inflation.
But getting back to Joe's kind of premise on this, are these furloughs or job layoffs in the federal government, are those going to come anyway? Because that's what the Democrats have suggested, that, you know, the Trump administration is going to push forward with layoffs and with furloughs anyway, whether they do this or not. Is that true?
Again, you know, it's a talking point. Senator Schumer, Representative Jeffries, you know, they're weak, they're discombobulated, they don't represent the American people, and you know they're making up excuses. So you know we'll see. I think that this is an opportunity, and you know they're using this opportunity. President Trump, in the first 9 months now, has been unstoppable. They've tried to stop him in the courts. They've tried to stop him in the press, and now they're trying to stop him with this shutdown.
Yep. Mr. Secretary, there's a piece yesterday, an op-ed piece in the Journal, I think from the editors themselves, that said they were urging Republicans not to get soft on some of the Medicaid cuts that we saw in the OBB, and that they're starting to see some buyer's remorse from moderate Republicans in their willingness maybe to talk about extending these COVID era Obamacare subsidies. I mean, the way Obamacare is right now, and I don't know, maybe you're good with, you know, you were in investment banking, you can design something perhaps better, because that's why we're in this mess. That's why we need these subsidies right now, because it doesn't work the way it was intended. And all the unintended consequences of Obamacare are coming home to roost at this point. That's why we need $1.5 trillion to try to keep it afloat. Can you fix it? What would you do?
Well, Joe, you know, what we're seeing is President Trump's leadership. We're seeing this, what's going to be a dramatic cut in prescription drug prices, which is one of the bigger parts of the healthcare budget. So you know, President Trump is laser focused on that, negotiating with Big Pharma. And you know, just to be clear, the spending cuts that occurred in the One Big Beautiful Bill were the largest in history, and you know we're not going to go back on them. That I came out from behind my desk and wanted to join the government to right the ship and get our fiscal house in order. We were left with a mess. It was the largest deficit when we weren't in a recession, weren't at war, and we are fixing the deficit. And you know, there could be a discussion, but this isn't the way to have a discussion. Shutting down the government and lowering the GDP. We have a 3.8% GDP, and the Democrats shut down the government. That you know, we could see a hit to the GDP, a hit to growth, and a hit to working Americans. But
do you see that as what finally gets this done at some type of concession for Republicans to extend those COVID era super Obamacare subsidies? Is that what Republicans should be agreeing to have Democrats agree for the CR, to vote on the CR? Is that the way it should be done?
Well, I can guarantee you there's not going to be an agreement to get the CR. There may be an agreement to talk, to have talks. This is going to be a clean CR. Yeah. When Biden was president, the Republicans passed 13 CRs. We didn't close down the government. And you know, again, as I said, what's changed between now and the spring? It's Senator Schumer's poll numbers, which are plummeting.
It's going to be interesting to see how this continues to play out. This government shutdown. Okay, what else do we have? Let's get back into the chat a little bit here. Guys, let's get the likes up. We got 208 people watching. We only have 61 likes. Let's get those pumped up. We got to get 100 likes. Price prediction on Cookie, I could see it hitting about $2.85, maybe $3, something like that. Jared, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Crypto J505, does the Russell start pumping with Bitcoin or after it tops? It kind of runs with it, but the Russell runs with alts more than it does Bitcoin. Quentin, what's going on, buddy? Sorry you missed the last 2 days. Super busy as always. Hey, make that extra cheddar, brother. That's a thing. Cryptus, what's going on? Let's get this money. Absolutely. Absolutely. I saw Gamma Goddess in there somewhere too. Yeah, there she is. She says it's looking green. Let's get this money. Absolutely. Absolutely. Robert getting another rate cut this month. There's about I think right now the odds are at 91% of a rate cut in October. So far it looks like yes. Jonathan says likes. Yes, hit the likes. Absolutely. Ghetto Born, what's up, man? This is Amaru. Just want to tell you I appreciate everything you do, man. Hey, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much. I appreciate you too. DH in the house. What's up, man? Big John, what's happening, brother? LFG. Bitcoin to hit 165K based on gold's record run, says JPMorgan. The Wall Street lenders model indicates that Bitcoin would need to rise approximately 40% from current levels to match the scale of private gold holdings once risk is factored in. October is one of the best months for crypto, bringing new hope after a gloomy September. However, I would note, though, that September closed green, for the record, right? It felt terrible, but it closed green. This year's October will favor the crypto market even more because of the so-called debasement trade that continues to gain momentum. The debasement trade involves buying assets such as gold or Bitcoin to hedge against the devaluation of fiat currencies. To that end, the retail investors have accelerated their embrace of the debasement trade, pouring into both gold, Bitcoin and gold exchange traded funds over the past quarter. So people are hedging against the debasement of the dollar by buying spot gold and spot Bitcoin ETFs. JPMorgan says that most of the activity is coming from retail buyers. Institutional buyers have also been participating primarily through Bitcoin and gold futures on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, or the CME, rather than the ETF. Based on open interest, the bank's proxy shows that institutions have been net buying since 2024. However, there has been a lull in their buying lately, probably through September. The sharp rise in gold prices over the past month have also made Bitcoin more appealing, as the volatility ratio between Bitcoin and gold has dropped below 2.0. This change suggests that the bank still views Bitcoin as being worth less than gold. However, its price is currently $50,000 less than JPMorgan's model said it should be. So again, Jamie Dimon and JPMorgan have been incorrect on their predictions for Bitcoin and crypto every single time, for the record. Analysis led by Nicholas, I'm not even going to try to read that last name, said that flows into the assets have been on the rise since late 2024. This trend began before the U.S. election and has continued to gain momentum ever since. Concerns about long-term inflation, growing government deficits, questions about the independence of the Federal Reserve, a loss of trust in fiat currencies in some emerging markets, and a larger move away from the U.S. dollar prompted the analysts to make the deal. Besides, JPMorgan's on-chain analytics firm CryptoQuant has said that Bitcoin could reach a price range of $160,000 to $200,000 by year's end if demand continues to expand. According to the firm, spot demand for Bitcoin has been rising since July, with apparent demand increasing at a monthly pace of more than 62,000 Bitcoin. That kind of sustained demand has preceded previous fourth quarter rallies. So this quarter is shaping up to be even bigger than 2020, 2021, and 2022's Q4 rallies. So big things coming for Bitcoin in the near term here, guys. Absolutely fantastic. Strange Sky, thank you for everything. Hey, absolutely. Rob, what do you think about the rumor about ZBIC leading SWIFT payments? I have to look deeper into that because I have been hearing a lot of whispers about it. We actually mentioned it briefly at the beginning of the stream, so I do have to look deeper into it to see what's what, right? Dave, buy physical gold and silver, people. If you don't hold, you don't own it. Hey, not financial advice, but I love to buy me some maples. It's a me, Yamadio. 50 push-ups, sir, plus 35, but I don't. But I got to spend them. Oh, come on. Yes, 50 push-ups. Not a spring chicken anymore. You and me both, man. Carlos, what's your prediction for Litecoin? I don't have one for Litecoin. I think it will do very, very well. I think Litecoin's going to have a good run because they are going to have a spot ETF as well. So, and they have a huge community. Let's go. Moonwell, says Mario. Absolutely. We got more from Squawkbox. On the government shutdown, the best way to solve a lot of the problems is a regular appropriations process. Let's check it out.
Now, Republican Senator Shelley Moore Capito of West Virginia. Senator, thanks for joining us this morning.
Sure. Nice to be on. Thank you.
You have friends across the aisle. Are any of them coming to you and saying, geez, Shelley, what do I do here? I'm thinking about joining with the other three, and I might be one of the five. Do you have any of them coming to you for help how to do that?
I do. And I think that they are looking for a way to, yes, they're looking for a way. They're still obviously very much invested in having this tied to the premium support discussion. But at the same time, they realize how damaging a government shutdown is to the federal workers, to anybody who needs services, our troops, etc. And so I think they are trying to find a way out. And I think they've been led by Senator Schumer into a place that's almost an impossibility to get a satisfactory result for them. So I'm hoping they see the only way to negotiate and begin to talk about the things they want to talk about is to reopen the government, and then everything's back on the table, including appropriations.
You think things should be back on the table in terms of extending emergency COVID era subsidies to a program that it has a lot of flaws, obviously. And you get not very good health care, and it's very expensive. And it almost gives, you're almost enabling Obamacare to continue to not do well if you okay those. And a lot of Republicans on your side of the aisle seem to be all too willing, to feel bad about what was in the OBB. They got buyer's remorse about what they did to Medicaid.
No, I have no buyer's remorse on the One Big Beautiful Bill. And I'm not going to relabel it either. I'm going to keep calling it the One Big Beautiful Bill because of what it does for working families, taxes, businesses, the certainty that it brings. On the other hand, in terms of healthcare, I think this COVID era expansion that the Democrats put into effect needs to be reined back in. There's a lot of fraud and abuse in here in terms of people double signing up, people who don't even know that they have plans, and they're, the insurance companies are getting paid for them. They don't even access the benefit. We've uncovered a lot of that. That's where the discussion needs to begin. This will not go through with a full extension of life as it is if we get to the point where we're actually negotiating on this. But here's the kicker for me. How easy is it to reopen the government? It's a simple 7-week reopen. Then we get to the discussions, because the best way to solve a lot of these problems is a regular appropriations process where we're setting priorities, we're shutting down programs, creating new ones that might serve better. This is the direction we should be going, rather than arguing on whose fault is this and why is this happening. We know why it's happening. Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have decided to shut the government down.
Senator Capito, if you look at West Virginia, it is one of the states that has relied pretty heavily on those subsidies from the ACA, though. Just looking through some of the numbers, something like 97% of those who signed up received the premium tax credits in 2025. And if this deadline is hit in January and goes through, I think it's been estimated that something like 15,000 West Virginians would no longer be able to afford healthcare insurance and would lose their healthcare coverage. Do you want to do something about this? Are you one of the senators who would be working with moderate Democrats to try and change some of the plans that have been put in place and restore some of those tax credits?
Where I think these tax credits should be aimed, and where I'm very interested in, and where I think most of my 50,000 West Virginians fall into, are in the small folks who have small businesses. Somebody who's a beautician, a barber, a small mom and pop shop in a small town in West Virginia. Those folks cannot get insurance any other way because it's unaffordable. Let's help them. Let's not help folks that are their income limits have been taken off here, that are making much more, that could afford a plan, could afford a bronze plan, could afford to pay some deductibles, could afford to have skin in the game. Those people now are riding free. They're not paying deductibles. They're not paying premiums. Those, yes, I'm interested in helping the West Virginians that for no fault of their own cannot get insurance, affordable insurance, without some premium support. But those folks are working hard every day. They know that the value of paying in to get something of value back. And so I think that that's where we need to begin the conversation.
It is easy to open the government, not when you've dug a huge hole for yourself and painted yourself into a corner. So what way out does Schumer or Senator Schumer or Leader Jeffries have at this point?
I think at this point, what's going to happen, we've already seen several Democrats that have changed their votes and voted to reopen the government. We're going to have another vote tomorrow, or, in observation of the Jewish holiday. We don't have votes today. And so I think that we'll probably see more. And I think there's a lot of pressure. I know there is, because I'm talking to them all the time. There's a lot of pressure to find a way to put a pin in this bubble so that we can then sit back down again and begin to negotiate. You hear loss of trust. There's loss of trust on both sides. I don't think that anybody can claim the high ground there, but I think we can reclaim that if we get the government open. It's a simple thing to me. And basically, it's not like the vote is, I'm going to open the government and I'm going to give the Republicans or Donald Trump 43 other things. No, it's quite simply reopening the government to begin discussions, to begin regular order on the Senate floor, to begin to talk about the things such as Becky brought up, the things of folks, working people that are very worried about what's going to happen in January with their health care.
Okay, so you're Chuck Schumer, Senator Schumer, you're worried about your leadership. And we sift through what people say. We don't believe, we probably don't believe 80% of what we hear. We're looking for little nuggets, trying to shift it all and find what's true and what's not.
How sad is it that we can't believe 80% of what we hear from government officials? Is it just me, or is this crazy? This is crazy. Absolutely nuts. Like they shut down and they bicker, and most of it comes down to how much money they're making. It's not about helping anybody. It's insane. Strawberry Dragon, shocking that Schumer and Jeffries can't climb their way out of their sombreros. Yeah, no kidding. All right, Citi predicts Bitcoin could reach $181,000. Wall Street banking giant Citi has made a striking forecast. Bitcoin's price could climb to $181,000 in just 12 months. I think it'll be there before that, but this price prediction reflects the growing belief among traditional financial institutions that the world's leading cryptocurrency is moving beyond speculation into mainstream adoption. Citi's analysis argues that Bitcoin is increasingly being viewed as a form of digital gold, a store of value that could attract more institutional investors in times of economic uncertainty. The comparison to gold has become stronger as inflation concerns rise and global markets remain volatile. One of the main factors behind the Bitcoin price prediction is the surge in institutional demand. Major players such as hedge funds, pension funds, and corporate treasuries are showing greater interest in Bitcoin as a long-term investment. Citi believes that if this momentum continues, Bitcoin could enter a new phase of adoption where it is widely used not only for speculation but also as a reserve asset. This shift could push the price of to unprecedented levels, with $181,000 seen as a realistic target within the next year. Here's the thing, guys. These institutions never take into account bear markets, right? 12 months from now, Bitcoin is going to be in a bear market. I don't care what anybody else says, right? All the people that are saying contrary were the same people saying it in 2021, and they never took any accountability for being wrong. They wrecked a lot of people. They told everybody that the 4-year cycle was dead and that there was going to be a super cycle. And then when everybody got wrecked and there was no super cycle, they took zero accountability for it. And here they are again saying the exact same thing at the peak of this cycle. Super cycle. This time is different. Next year's going to be bigger than this year. Yeah. Didn't turn out so well in 2021, right? Sorry, the only thing Schumer and Jeffries have, conducted. Yeah. Ben, thank you for all you do. Hey, no problem, man. No problem. So that's the thing, guys. I think, like I said, the top for me for Bitcoin between $150,000 and $200,000 for this cycle, but I don't think it's going to take 12 months to get there. I think Bitcoin's going to top sometime probably near the end of November, maybe halfway through December, which is going to lead altcoins season to bleed into probably around February, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Yo, Mars, love you too, brother. Love you too. All right, let's go back over, look at Bitcoin, 120,200 and climbing, guys. That's what you want to see. This is our target, 123,300. But for now, let's close above here. Let's close above $120,000. That's the goal for the day. So that's that, guys. Listen, I will be back, I'll be live tonight at about 8 p.m. Central with Rule and Max over on the Patreon. If you want to join us over on that special presentation Thursdays, make sure you are a member of the Patreon community. I will also be dropping yet another daily trade over in the trading group. So get over there, guys. You're not going to want to miss it. We've been melting faces over in the trading group. So check that out. Book your one-on-one coaching calls as well, and so much more, guys. The link is in the description. It's in the chat. It's in the pinned comments over the top. I see you, man. What's going on? Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.